fun begins.
How's it going?
Hello.
Well,
Greetings, young Jedi.
hello there.
What is up, everyone? Hybrid Toy Reviews here with another Topical Tuesday. I hope y'all are having a phenomenal day. Today's topic is about Hasbro Pulse Premium and why I generally don't like it, although how it also may be a necessary evil. This topic was inspired by a recent conversation I had on an Xbox party with Blitz Transmissions, 212 Hunter, and Shelf Life, so shout out Swear Stew. It just kind of became the topic for a little bit, and I said, you know what? This is an interesting topic. I want to make a video on it. I want to get the community's thoughts on it. So here I am, sharing my opinions, rant style, as I like to do, and I just want to get some feedback. So, are you a Pulse Premium user? Do you have that Pulse Premium account? If so, fire off in the comments below why, and do you consider it worth it? So, little talk about Pulse Premium. Hasbro Pulse Premium is basically Amazon Prime, except for using on Hasbro Pulse. It is $50 a year, and the idea of it is you get free shipping on every order, and then there are a couple of other benefits. Sometimes they might have a sale go on where, maybe they're clearancing some things out, and it might be 25% for the average Joe, but the Pulse Premium members get 35% off. And the one thing that most people are aware of is the early access to a lot of the exclusive products. And that is probably the biggest benefit, and also generally a frustration for people that don't use Pulse Premium. Now, a point that was made to me by some friends, and correctly so. I mean, there are applications where Pulse Premium makes sense. So Pulse Premium gives you that free shipping, and on a lot of these larger scale HasLabs, you're going to spend $50 or more on the shipping for a gunship. So it's actually cheaper to get Pulse Premium, and then you get the benefits of, early access to everything else. So if you are a HasLab consumer, which I don't think is the majority of collectors, but I know it's a large chunk of collectors. If you're a Black Series collector, you're not a HasLab consumer, if that's the only thing that you collect. There's definitely more benefit if you dabble with Black Series and TVC and G.I. Joe and some Marvel Legends. So, I could definitely see it as being worth it there. But I gotta be honest, in the calendar year of 2025, I made one single Pulse order, and it was December 20th when the toe articulation Boba Fett came in stock. Now, I'm willing to accept that the delays were because of the holiday season, but I ordered it on December 20th, and it did not get shipped until December 29th, and DHL has had it for about a week now, and I still don't have an estimated delivery date. So, while I spent $6.99 on that shipping, it was not a speedy choice. And I have since found the figure in store, so I'm just going to end up having a duplicate Boba Fett. But, I made one order last year. Now, I might have made 3 orders last year, because the Pulse Premium was like a requirement if you wanted to get the Anakin and Obi-Wan San Diego Comic-Con Battle 2-pack. And then, when the Mace Windu versus Darth Sidious 2-pack came out, for the first month, you had to have Pulse to buy the thing, which genuinely pissed me off when I saw that. I mean, typically, the way that these exclusives has always gone is, Pulse gets early access for like the first hour. And, that's a whole lot more than 1 hour, when you're talking 30 days. So that was largely frustrating as a non-premium member. And it really felt like they were trying to twist my arm into getting premium. Now, here's my general reasoning for not getting premium. Part of it is because I have a YouTube channel. However, I think I would still be this kind of person even if I packed up shop and said, Hybrid Toy Reviews is closing down. I generally like getting my figures as early as possible. I regularly pay $35 for a standard Black Series figure because I order it from CMD store in Canada because they get stuff a month before any retailer in the US does, and I want to get that review out. And to me, I always justify it by, hey, the earlier I get that review out, the more views it'll get. And, you know, it's not a numbers game necessarily for me, but it's nice when a video gets bigger views. I'm worth spending a couple extra dollars over retail. But I also know myself well enough to know that from the second that I see those promo photos of a figure in a Hasbro stream, I'm kind of foaming at the mouth for the thing a little bit. I kind of want the figure. I want it in hand. And so, I'm always kind of clicking on eBay and looking to see if any China-based sellers, are in stock yet, or if there's anyone that's gotten one, and even before I was a collector, man, if I could get something early, come on, it's early. Who doesn't want to get something early, right? And so my big gripe with Hasbro Pulse is it's Hasbro's actual retailer. You've got Hasbro, the company that manufactures stuff, and then Pulse, they're linked at the elbow there. And Pulse, for whatever reason, does not get stuff early. They are typically the last retailer to get something. If there's a Black Series wave coming out, Amazon's going to get it. Big Bad's going to start fulfilling pre-orders. Entertainment Earth is going to ship some out. CMD's had it for a month at this point. And then finally, once everyone has gotten their fulfillment from everywhere else, then they start popping up one at a time on Pulse. And it's like, really? Why is that? Why is that like what we're working with here? It's just, if you want me to buy Pulse Premium, Pulse needs to start being a premium retailer. You need to say, hey, this first, shipment coming out of the factory, not for Amazon, not for Big Bad. It's going right to the Pulse warehouses because we have premium members giving us $50 a year, and they are going to get the premium treatment, and they get the first dibs on stuff out of the factory. They get the first dibs on everything before it shows up for the common Joe that uses Amazon. That's what I would want to start using Pulse Premium. If Pulse became the retailer that got Hasbro products first every time, and by fact of being Hasbro themselves, it befuddles me why they do not get first dibs on what comes out of the factory. But if they got first dibs on what was coming out of the factory, I would get that Pulse Premium membership in an instant, and I would be using it to buy all sorts of stuff on Pulse. But as is, I've made one order from Pulse in 2025, and then the prior order I ever made was the Staps and the Darth Maul speeder, and then it won't let me go that far back to even show me what I ordered before those. Point being, Pulse Premium is $50 a year, and I'm spending $15 a year just paying for shipping on Pulse. So it's worth it to me to not use Pulse Premium. However, I mentioned in the beginning, it might be becoming a necessary evil, and that's where I'm going to drag this to conclusion here. It is, as I said, necessary evil. Not happy about this in any way, but word is that Hasbro's new thing going forward is going to be less manufacturing, like manufacturing smaller batches of figures and exclusives, because the average collector plays clearance chicken on everything. And that's not the only reason, but point being, we've got these Staps and Maul speeders that are still in stock on Pulse, and you have all these figures going to Ross, and everyone wants to say that it's a sign the line's failing. Well, maybe it's just a sign that they're making too many things, and, something showing up on clearance doesn't necessarily mean a failure of the line, but it does mean overproduction. One or two things here. If people find one figure on the shelf at Ross every now and then, generally you're doing okay. But when you're having figures showing up en masse, as they were this last holiday season, that's problematic. the Anakin and Obi-Wan SDCC pack, when it went out of stock immediately, I didn't sweat it because for the last like 6 or 7 years, every single time they've had one of these convention packs sell out, they make a new batch. You might gotta wait 2 or 3 months, but it'll restock and you'll be able to just get it as a commoner. I've had confirmation that they're gone. They are not ordering another pack. Now, why they would decide to execute this plan of action on the coolest 2-pack they have ever made in the history of the line befuddles me. But it's Hasbro's choice to make. Somehow Mace Windu and Darth Sidious came back in stock after like 2 months of being out of stock. I was able to order it on the restock, so that was nice. Finally, a January Pulse pre-order. Two orders on Pulse in the course of like a month. That's very out of character for me. And I ponder sets like the Bespin Luke and Vader Bespin Duel set that it's been out of stock for a while. Are they even going to order more stock? And I don't blame Hasbro for thinking of it this way, because right now they're gone. Right now it is a smash success. And if Hasbro orders another batch, and then they sell 2/3 of that second batch, and then they sit on like 500 of these things, and they sell one at a time here and there for the next 2 years, like the malls and the Stap, then it's no longer a success. And, there's no longer that exclusivity. And this set, has only gone up like $30 on eBay. Like, it's not like the Anakin and Obi-Wan set where it's, double, 2.5, 3 times, retail. So, is the demand truly there to order a new batch? When they keep getting, screwed over by the collectors not showing up for everything. It's definitely understandable why they would think about not just constantly reordering everything. So it seems like the Hasbro game going forward is going to be the only way to guarantee getting something is pre-ordering. And I've never really been big on pre-ordering in general. The dates don't really matter, and usually everything's just been accessible, and you don't have to pre-order something to get the figures because the figures are just going to get made and you're just going to be able to go find them. And now it kind of seems to be the opposite. And if Hasbro is going to start putting their exclusives with 30-day Pulse Premium exclusivity windows, if they sell out of pre-orders there might not be a batch number 2. So it's like you kind of need to have that Pulse Premium account, or else you're going to really start missing out. Potentially. This is not a guarantee. This is a speculation. But there's potential that there are going to be things that you cannot buy because they sell out before the 30 days are up and the common man can go buy it. And it doesn't really seem like a good business practice to me, except it means everything's a sellout. So, to them, the numbers are good. But just as the common collector, it just seems like they're squeezing an extra $50 out of me every year. But we'll see. I've not picked up the Pulse Premium account yet. There is potential this year I might decide to finally bite the bullet and spend $50 on shipping for 4 things a year instead of the 25 I would have spent otherwise. But we'll just have to see how things play out there. So let me know. Like I said earlier in the video, do you have Pulse Premium? Do you not have Pulse Premium? What's your reason for having it? What's your reason for not having it? Has my opinions here swayed you towards getting it? Are you going to consider it? Let's talk about Pulse Premium in the chat down below. And again, I'm not vilifying it. And if you're purchasing a lot of things on Pulse, like I said, it's a good program if you're using it a lot. Same reason Amazon Prime's a good program if you shop on Amazon a lot, and I do. That's why I have Prime and not Pulse Premium, because Hasbro will ship figures to Amazon first, but Amazon will sell their exclusive Black Series to people that have Prime or not. As long as you're willing to pay for that shipping, you're fine. And that is the difference between Amazon and Hasbro. So let me know your thoughts. Thank you for hanging out with me on this Topical Tuesday. May the Force be with you, and we will see you next week. Bye.